Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this broadcast as you would a radio broadcast. I lost my train of thought. In this essay, I'd like to talk about car loan payments, and there's a number of articles that have been appearing recently suggesting or claiming that the default rates are moving up quite quickly. Now, I don't know how suddenly this is. I'm not sure there's propaganda or there's no way you can verify the stats here, but to some extent, I don't doubt it. But there's a few interesting things to sort of extract from this. One is the default rates, and when I say default, it's they're going up to 90 days behind. Now, I don't know what happens after 90 days. Default, is it repossession or I don't know, legal action or what? I'm not sure what happens there. But they're claiming that between 30 days overdue, behind, or up to 90 days and beyond, there's something in the order of 15% of people with car loans are unable to pay them back or have fallen behind to that extent. That seems rather high to me, but anyway, but here's the sort of interesting thing: the amount of people that are buying new cars recently, according to the articles anyway, has increased considerably. So more people are buying new cars than was hitherto the case. Is that so? I don't know. The second thing, and this stuck out to me, is the average price of a new car, that this is what people are getting loans for at least, is between 40 and 45,000 US dollars for a car. Now, if I just sort of cruise through the new motor vehicles, that's not the cars at the bottom, the small 4-cylinder cars. It's not them. They're much cheaper than that. I need to get, before I get to those sort of prices, I need to get to, the SUVs, ones with quite a lot of features and bits and pieces on them, or the lower end or lower medium end of BMW, that type of thing. So these aren't sort of discount cheap cars. These are the nicer end. This is moving, it's not at the luxury end, but it's moving towards the luxury end at those sort of prices. And that took me by surprise. So as economic times were supposedly tightening, people were running out and buying expensive brand new cars and getting loans for them. So this struck me as odd. Now, the other side, they thought, well, is everybody wants to become an Uber driver, or they want to, become an Amazon delivery driver or something like that, or delivering pizza, so they want to get the nice SUV style, station wagon style vehicle, so they can do commercial work, and that's why they're buying the more expensive vehicles. Could that be it? It doesn't look like it. They look like just personal passenger vehicles rather than work type vehicles. So why is that happening? If we look at the price of new cars over the last, say, 5 to 7 years, as more and more new car production has been sent offshore to these cheap labour countries, the price of the motor vehicles has been going up almost as quickly as manufacturing has been taken off to these cheap labour countries. So where is the saving go? Where is the American consumer benefiting? Because the idea of sending manufacturing off to Mexico or somewhere like that, the idea was that the product will be much cheaper to make, and therefore the consumer in America or the West would benefit from cheaper goods. So the locally manufactured car that they used to spend $100 on, it would now be $75 for the same vehicle. So your standard of living goes up because things you want to buy are cheaper, and so that's the theory. That's the theory behind it. The reality seems quite different. That as more and more manufacturing was sent offshore, the price kept on going up and up of new vehicles. This is now, as the price of new vehicles went up, then not all, but many categories of used vehicles also, especially the more recent ones, say a used vehicle that's within 7 to 10 years of being manufactured. So it's not that old. maybe hasn't got that many miles on the clock. The price of those vehicles has gone up quite considerably. They're, I don't know if they're, I think that's been a category of vehicle that, because new vehicles have increased in price, then that cohort of used vehicles, sort of fairly recent used vehicles in terms of manufacturing date, their price has gone up. Now, the vehicles outside of that cohort, then the prices have stayed pretty much consistent, if not gone down a little bit. Now, for people that have the time or the inclination or the mechanical expertise or the tools or all of the above, then there's still a lot of great bargains out there in used vehicles if you've got that expertise to do the repairs. And so for those people, there's still again, some great deals out there, whether in any class. Like there's a lot of Mercs, Beamers, all sorts of vehicles out there, say 15 to 20-year-old General Motors, Ford, that sort of stuff. Some really good bargains out there. One that I came across recently was it's just a 1.8 litre engine, I think it is. It's got the leather seats. The owner has garaged it, not used it extensively, didn't beat the shit out of it. But it's thrown, it needs some work. It needs I could do that work for $500 with my time and expertise. If you took it to the dealer to do it, it would be $4,000, as they call it, the stealership. So that's a marginal thing, because the car's only worth $5,000 now. Why would anybody spend $4,000 doing it up? You might as well get a new car. So I think people are being pushed into buying new cars when they may not really need it or want it, or they could spend less. Maybe it's bragging rights. A lot of the car loan companies won't loan you money unless the car is new. So if you haven't got the cash on hand or the cash flow to buy a used car, then you kind of have to buy a new car. Now then that comes to, well, why would you buy a $45,000 new car when there are plenty of new cars out, smaller and less featured and not as swanky? Sure, but you can buy those cars for $15,000 and still get a loan, and that means your payments 1/3 of what it would be if you get the other car. So why are people buying more expensive cars they don't need? Why are people on such tight budgets wanting to take that level of risk buying these expensive cars? I mean, if you're on a gig economy, an ordinary salary, $45,000 is a lot of money to buy for a car when you can easily buy a brand new car for $15,000. Again, not as swanky, but it'll do the job and it'll get you around. Can you go around the streets posing and all that sort? Well, no. The $15,000 car isn't that much of a pose, but it does the job. So maybe people are wanting to get bragging rights. Well, look at my hot new car and this sort of thing. Now, so looking at that, but coming back to the material point, if people are if their budgets are that tight, made even tighter by getting spending $45,000 on a car and getting a big loan, if the budgets are that tight, that there's that level of defaulting, then where is the economy at? Is unemployment that bad? Is the gig economy that disrupted? Because we're told that unemployment's only 3% or 4%. Now, I don't believe that. I think unemployment is in fact much higher, and I'm hoping that the Trump administration will return honesty to public service government data reporting, because I think unemployment would be closer to 15+%. And that's something that we need to get clear. Let's get the real picture out there. And I think the answer to why people are defaulting on their car loans lies in the real numbers that are out there. Are people dumb buying a $45,000 car when they're not really sure they can afford it or not, and it's really going to put heavy strain on their budget? Of course they're dumb to do that, and I don't know why they're doing it. But nonetheless, that's the situation that these articles are reporting. And okay, that's the situation. How do we fix it? You've been a Taskers today, your pushback channel. Thank you for listening.